A place to remember. It's long overdue. In fact, 50 years overdue. This goes back to September 11th, 1974. Eastern Airlines Flight 212 left Charleston early that morning. It was headed to Chicago with a stop here in Charlotte. It didn't make it to what was then Douglas Municipal Airport. The DC-9 went down in a now grown-over farm field about 3 miles short of the runway.
This is all poison ivy.
Through a thicket of ivy and pines, Chip McDonald was leading us to a place he hadn't been to in a long time.
Years. And I've only been back here one time before.
It's the place where he lost his dad.
How do you feel about, what's it feel like for you to be here?
And here in an overhead plane, it doesn't feel great at all. It feels awful, as a matter of fact.
Chip McDonald was an 18-year-old sophomore at Clemson University when the plane carrying his dad, Charles, went down. We talked to him last fall on the 50th anniversary of that crash. Now, the story we ran ended with a frustrating detail. The crash that ultimately took the lives of 75 of the 82 people on board, the worst air disaster in Charlotte history, had for the most part been forgotten in our community, lost to time. Does it bother you that there's not a marker, a memorial, anything for this event?
It does. The fuselage and everything is underground somewhere in here now, that they took a bulldozer and covered it all up. So there's the memorial you ask about, underground.
Seems wrong.
It does seem wrong.
Well, 9 months after that interview, we have an update. Finally, those family members who lost so much 50 years ago have a place to go, to remember. And so do the rest of us. It's right outside the Sullenberger Aviation Museum. In those bricks, the names of those killed are being engraved. Chip's dad, Charles, one of them. We caught up with him today to talk about what this means for him and all the families.
It disappeared in history, and I guess I share a good bit of guilt about that, in that I didn't do anything to memorialize it myself. We kind of lived with the pain. We didn't really talk about it amongst others, you know, once it took place, so you internalized it.
I wanted to ask you about that, the process that you've gone through over 50 years, right? And how does this help in that?
Again, I think the word is kind of closure. It is, you know, it's an awful thing that the crash took place here. My father was killed here. We have a tombstone at a cemetery in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, where we're from. But that's not where my father, you know, the last of my father is. It is here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Off of South Tryon Street.
As you've sort of reconnected with other families who were impacted by this, what's that been like for them? How are they reacting to this happening?
We've had Zoom meetings and emails and all that, and it's just a great feeling to share. You know, we share in our loss and our grief, but we're sharing also in partnering again with the Sullenberger Aviation Museum and being a part of aviation safety, aviation supporting their mission of education in aviation.
This Saturday, those families will gather here in person to dedicate the bricks, to honor those they lost.
They came to us and we really wanted to listen to their story.
Stephen Saucier is the museum's president.
Chip mentioned it just gives them a little sense of closure. To be a part of that for them, what does that mean to you?
Oh, that just makes me really happy. You know, this is a small gesture on our part. We hope to do more through time. But to have a museum which is about community, which is about storytelling, which is about innovation, to work with the families and have this place where they can come to and have a little solace, have a little comfort. It's a good service to the community, and we're honored to be part of the families.
Inside the museum, you'll find 212's flight data recorder, along with a reminder of what we learned from that awful day. The pilots, disoriented by fog, were further distracted by their own nonsensical everyday banter. It would lead to changes, the sterile cockpit rule. Pilots now must stick to business during critical parts of the flight. like landing.
So we really tried to marry ourselves to that sense of trust, to grow and how we can learn from an event like this, how we can build trust with these families, and how we can ensure these families that the aviation industry is continuing to learn from these things.
What's it mean to you to have them do this and to create this space for you here?
Well, it means everything because it makes something physical. You know, we've created a virtual website and location for our crash and so forth, but here we have permanently etched in stone a memorial here, which is a very attractive, popular location to see the history of aviation, the Wright brothers, the miracle on the Hudson, and we're tied into that in a positive way.
Now, the dedication's open to the public. It's this Saturday, 10 a.m. at the Sullenberger Aviation Museum. Families, by the way, are also working on putting up a memorial at the airport overlook in the months ahead. All of it long overdue. Coming up next here on